The agent whose name is on that yard sign or that listing page has a contract to represent the seller. Their legal obligation is to get the seller the highest price and the best terms. Think about it like a high-stakes court case. You would never walk into a courtroom and expect the prosecutor to also act like your defense attorney and look out for your best interests. It's a total conflict of interest. You need your own independent buyer's agent who represents your needs and your wallet. So when you look for one, don't just hire a friend of a friend. Treat it like a corporate interview. Ask them direct questions like, how many transactions have you closed in this specific neighborhood over the past 12 months? Or can I see your Google reviews? If they are a top tier professional, they will gladly hand over that data. And I know that finding an agent who actually knows how to negotiate for you using data can be exhausting. So if you want to skip the guesswork and you need a highly competitive agent in your specific market, then I can personally vet and connect you with someone incredible who actually knows your local market. Which leads me directly into strategy number 2, understanding how your agent actually gets paid under the new market rules. Here's the thing, there used to be a massive misconception that hiring a buyer's agent was completely free because the seller automatically covered it. But following the landmark NAR settlement, the entire real estate industry fundamentally shifted. Today, buyer and seller commissions are completely decoupled, meaning that they're separated. Listing agents are no longer even allowed to advertise a buyer's agent commission on the multiple listing service, aka the MLS. What's more, by law now, you can't even tour a house with an agent until you sign a written buyer agency agreement that explicitly outlines exactly how much that agent charges for their services. Here is what that means for you and your wallet. As a buyer, you are technically on the hook for your agent's fee. However, I will say that that fee is fully negotiable, and in the vast majority of standard transactions, it's still paid at the closing table through seller concessions or direct negotiations. When we write an offer on a house, we can explicitly require the seller to cover your agent's fee out of the sale proceeds as part of the contract. The key is knowing this up front. You have to negotiate your agent's value before you look at a single piece of property. So make sure you choose an agent who can clearly articulate what they bring to the table. And once you have that agent, strategy number 3 is a trick that will save you thousands of dollars in legal headache. Ask for a blank copy of the standard purchase contract before you ever find a house that you like. Now, really quick, before I explain why this is important, if you're finding value in these insider strategies so far, do me the quick favor of hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss the next market reality check. Okay, back to the video. In almost every single real estate market, state associations mandate a standardized, legally binding purchase agreement that every brokerage uses. The absolute worst time to read an 11-page legal contract is at 10 p.m. on a Sunday via DocuSign when you're rushing to make an offer on a competitive property. What's going to happen is you're going to end up blindly clicking sign, sign, sign without really knowing your rights. That's doing a disservice to yourself. So get the blank contract early, sit down, and have your agent explain page by page questions like, how long is the local inspection window? Under what conditions do I get my earnest money deposit back? Who traditionally pays for the title policy in our county? Knowing the rules of the game before you play is how you protect your deposit, which brings us to strategy number 4. And this is where most buyers get confused. It's knowing how an appraiser actually determines what a house is worth. A lot of buyers think that property values are based on emotional magic or a seller's wish list, but independent appraisers actually use strict cold data. They look at closed sales data from the multiple listing service within a tight 3-mile radius and specifically look at properties that settled within the last 6 months. They'll adjust for exact square footage, bedroom counts, structural conditions, etc. Here is the secret. Top real estate agents have access to the exact same closed data. If your agent is competitive and does their homework and runs a proper comparative market analysis, your offer price should hit the appraisal value perfectly. If a house is priced way above the data, don't chase it emotionally. Let the math protect you from overpaying. And that leads right into strategy number 5, not getting paralyzed by micromath. While you absolutely should not overpay for a property, you also shouldn't lose a structurally sound long-term asset by digging your heels in over a rounding error. If a home perfectly checks your critical lifestyle boxes, it's in the right location, it has solid layout, and needs zero major structural overhauls, then losing it out of pure stubbornness over a minor price gap is a massive strategic mistake. You need to think about the bigger picture. Think about the actual macro data. Real estate values historically appreciate an average of 4% per year over a long-term timeline. If you walk away from a great house over a $5,000 disagreement in a negotiation, then you're letting a tiny short-term friction cost you tens of thousands of dollars in compounding equity over the next 5 to 10 years. So don't let a battle of egos get in the way of a smart financial play. Strategy number 6 is a metric that most buyers completely ignore, and that's days on market, or DOM. When a house is fresh on the market in the first 7 to 14 days, the seller is likely confident and less likely to budge on price or terms. But if a property has been sitting empty or active for 4, 5, maybe 6 months, the psychology starts to shift. The listing becomes shop-worn. Buyers start wondering what's wrong with it. Even if the house is structurally flawless and was simply overpriced in the beginning and that's why it's sitting on the market. This is your leverage. Don't be afraid to write an offer 5, 10, or even 15% below the asking price on a high DOM property. The seller's motivation changes over time. It's just how the market works. And a property that sat empty is often a golden opportunity for a data-driven buyer like yourself. Which finally brings us to strategy number 7, which is to always make sure your agent uncovers the seller's motivation. I do this for all of my clients. Before you draft an offer, your agent should always call the listing broker and ask a simple question. Why are they selling? The answer to that question dictates your entire negotiation strategy. Are they relocating for a job buyout? Is it an estate sale? Are they receiving a buyout, or have they already closed on a new home and are now paying 2 property bills simultaneously? You see, an empty, vacant home where the sellers have already moved out tells you they are highly motivated to cut a deal quickly. Uncovering the why gives you the upper hand before you ever submit a single piece of paper. So buying your first home doesn't have to be an overwhelming guessing game if you ignore the hype and you follow the structural data. Work with the right professionals, understand the contract before you sign it, and use market timeline leverage to your advantage. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious about your thoughts. Which of these 7 strategies surprised you the most? Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more real estate reality checks. I'll see you guys in the next video.